absolutely drop-dead gorgeous as this woman is, on the outside, I am here to testify she is 20 times more beautiful on the inside. Please help me welcome Governor Sarah Palin.
Minnesota, do you love your freedom? You love your freedom? Then let's thank a vet. That's what we're going to do right now. Anyone who has served, past, or presently serving in the United States military, if you could raise your hand, we want to honor you and thank you for your sacrifice. In the land of 10,000 lakes with patriots who love your country. You are so proud to be Americans, and you who love your good hunting and fishing, and some of you proudly clinging to your guns and religion. And I imagine lots of good hockey moms in the crowd. To get to be here supporting my friend, Michele Bachman. Do the rest of the nation a favor and keep her serving all of us in the United States Congress. She is inspiring. I really love Minnesota. I love being here because you all sound just like me, or I sound just like you, vice versa. And such beautiful country too, the 10,000 lakes. Alaska only has 3 million lakes. But we've only named 1,000 of them, so you got us. Now backstage, Michele and I were talking about the Tea Party movement. We were catching up a little bit, and I was wondering, do we have some Tea Party Americans here today? Well, I thank you then. I thank you for being part of this beautiful grassroots movement that's really sweeping across our country, and it is full of common sense conservatives who are ready to take our country back. I thank you for being a part of this. Over these past months, I've had the opportunity to talk to a whole lot of these common sense conservatives, part of the Tea Party movement, a lot of independent Americans who, as Michele said, just had enough of what's going on in the Obama administration, and those making up the Tea Party movement. A couple of weeks ago, matter of fact, at a Tea Party event in Searchlight, Nevada. Maybe you heard about that? That, Searchlight, being the hometown of Harry Reid, the soon-to-be former Senate Majority Leader. In places like Searchlight in Nashville and Tulsa and here in Minnesota, the Tea Party is growing and steaming thanks to a lot of good, hardworking, patriotic, everyday Americans who love this country and are so proud to be American, but are also deeply, deeply concerned about the path that our country is now on. People who are not afraid, like Michele, to stand up and to speak out for what is right. Minnesota is full of these good people. Interesting, I was going to mention this to Michele, something kind of interesting about some of these Tea Party leaders. We're finding out most of them are women. Yeah, some surveys show that. And that's inspiration that gives us hope for this movement, because, you know, as Ronald Reagan's friend Margaret Thatcher used to say, she used to say, in politics, you want something said, ask a man. You want something done, ask a woman. Than that, though, my old mantra is no. Behind every good, productive man stands a very surprised woman. But Minnesota, let me add, if you want something done right, then please re-elect Congresswoman Michele Bachman for the... Now, you know, I'm just kidding about this gender thing. I'm just joshing about the gender thing. Gender's no issue. Neither is the color of one's skin. That's not a measuring issue either. It is character, it's what's inside, and Michele has this. She has what we need. But speaking of women, this year a lot of conservative women, like Michele, they're standing up and they're speaking out for common sense conservative solutions, and they're ready to take our country back. And these gals are putting it all on the line, running for office in 2010. And when I see how many great candidates there are out there willing, sacrificing to serve our country, it kind of reminds me of that campaign button we saw in 2008. Remember, it was a pink GOP elephant, and it said on it, "It's a girl." Well, someone better tell Washington, warn them that pink elephant is on the move, and 2010 is shaping up to be the year that conservative women get together and help take back this country. And Michele, Michele and I, we kind of have a similar story. We didn't get involved in politics because we would strive to be politicians, heaven forbid. We got involved because we wanted opportunities to be able to incentivize a work ethic for our children and for other children. Starting out in schools, me with PTA, and Michele dedicating 5 years of her life fighting for her kids to get a better education, and then she ending up in the state Senate. Turns out, Michele and I, we both have a lot to fight for. I thought the Palin clan was pretty large. 5 kids and 23 foster children. And I looked that one up real quickly. I Googled that one, and that was palm-worthy. I had to write that one on my head. Teleprompter. We're still kicking it old school. But you know what? When moms like Michele get involved, then you know that that's when real change is in the air. With no time to waste, no time or desire for drama or for personality or power struggles, no time for that. Plus, you add in there some mother's intuition, and I think that we can just kind of tell when things just aren't quite right, and we're not afraid to roll up our sleeves and get to work and put things back on the right track. And maybe it's because she is a mom and she's so concerned about all her kids' future and their opportunities that Michele felt like she had to speak out when Washington went on a spending spree again and started borrowing more and more money from foreign countries and bailing out, taking over, shoving aside so much of our private sector, as she mentioned, insurance companies and automakers and banks, and so much of the private sector now that government controls just in these last 18 months. And maybe it's because she's a mom that Michele heard about the administration's plan to pass another expensive entitlement program that we cannot afford. And she said, that doesn't sound right and we can do better, because somebody's got to figure out who's going to pay the piper for all of this largesse that we're suffering from in these last 18 months. See, Michele knows. She knows that when you cut out the family's budget, or our small businesses, our budgets there, that you can't spend money that you don't have, and you certainly shouldn't take the money from your children. And that's why she voted against the $1 trillion stimulus bill, and she co-sponsored the Rebound Act, which is to reduce the deficit and promote real economic recovery. In some cases, she's had to take on others, even within our own party, to make her point. And I know what she's up against there. As governor, I vetoed some of Obama's stimulus funds, and my veto was overridden by a Republican-led legislature because there are too many people today with blinders on believing that this is all free money and somehow magically it's all going to just work out without America producing more.